Hello everyone, my name is Furlance and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like my content, please do consider subscribing. Also, leave a like on the video, I would really appreciate that. Leave any feedback or suggestions that you may have in the comment section below. And with that, let's jump into today's video. So I kind of wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on the whole PlayStation situation right now. As you guys know, I primarily do play games on PlayStation, and it is kind of my preferred platform to play games on. I mean, it's my primary platform. I don't really have any other consoles right now. My PS4 is the main one. I did want to get one of the newer consoles, but quite obviously with the supply chain situation that those consoles have, I really haven't been able to secure one for myself. But you know, I kind of made a video a couple of days ago highlighting or differentiating you know, both Xbox and PlayStation, and if you haven't watched that video, I recommend that you do. In that video, I kind of brought up how, you know, I was concerned about you know, the way PlayStation is handling its business as of late, starting with the policies that don't really make any sense for me as a gamer. Starting with the fact that PlayStation is closing its PSP, PS Vita, and PS3 stores, which, you know, is a bit of a sad situation. I really don't think that Sony, at least for PS3 and PS Vita, should have ended the stores at this point. It seems a bit too early, and then kind of begs the question as to what Sony's stance is on backwards compatibility or game preservation. And that just kind of puts you know, puts Sony in a bad light. And obviously, me as a gamer, it makes me a little bit of a concern in this regard. And then on top of that, we heard that you know, Sony canceled or declined the pitch for Days Gone 2, which in my opinion was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed the story of that game. I really enjoyed the gameplay, the hordes that you had to fight. I think they were one of the best you know, representation of what you could do with the zombie world, right? I mean, you had The Last of Us before that, and many other games that explored this genre, this zombie genre of games, but none have done what in my opinion Days Gone did before. And Jason Schreier, the author and the journalist, you know, he did an expose on the inner workings of Sony, and he brought it to light that, you know, Sony Bend, the studio behind Days Gone, the first one, obviously pitched you know, Days Gone 2, and that was declined by Sony simply because the first Days Gone game wasn't a critical hit, even though, as far as we understand from like the sales data that we think, you know, somewhat sales data that we have, it's not all the numbers, but it does seem like the game was financially successful for Sony. But yet again, with the Metascore within 70s, I think Sony just wasn't happy. It wasn't a blockbuster hit that I think Sony was hoping for, which yet again, I mean, if you're giving a smaller studio a first time chance to make a big AAA title game, and you know, if you expect that they'll get it right on the first try, it's very hard. I saw Yongye's video, and he brought up a very good point, looking at games like the first Uncharted game from the Naughty Dog studio. That game was rough, right? It wasn't as polished as the second Uncharted game, and obviously each consequent game afterwards, it wasn't as amazing as the first. Like, the first one wasn't as amazing as the rest of them were, right? But that started them on that path. They polished their gameplay, they polished their graphics, they polished their storytelling. Everything became better from that point onward for Naughty Dog. So I mean, it just begs the question that company like Sony, you'd expect them to give a new studio a chance to build on a franchise like the Uncharted by the Naughty Dog team, but they didn't give Sony Bend that opportunity. Even though there is some good news in this, I've heard that they have given them a green light to develop a new IP, which is, it's fine, but preferably, if you'd ask me, I would have wanted Days Gone 2 versus a brand new IP from Sony band, and then the original team or the original creative director and the producer of the game for Days Gone, they left the studio, which yet again, it doesn't provide a good highlight of what's going on with within SIE right now, or PlayStation in general. So people are coming into question, are basically questioning Sony's leadership in this regard. So anyway, moving on. I mean, Days Gone 2, the pitch got declined. The game currently, as of what we know, is not being developed, and that's obviously a sad news for me. I think the cherry on top is the deafening silence from Sony on all of these issues, right? Fans are clearly unhappy. Jason Schreier did this expose, this article. People learning that the PS3 stores and PSP stores and Vita stores are closing. Days Gone 2 being declined. On all of these topics, Sony is just dead quiet. Like, it's absolute silence from them, and that is what's basically concerning for a lot of people, right? It just boggles my mind. I mean, I understand to some regard that Sony thinks that this will blow over by itself, and to an extent it might, but it does seem a little out of place that a journalist like Jason Schreier does an article like that, and then the leaks and rumors begin to spread like wildfire about the inner workings of Sony as a company and SIE. The new president of the SIE Studios, which is Herman Holst, and there is no comment from Sony about any of them. Not even a state of play to take people's mind off of these rumors, which are quite concerning, in all honesty, right? I mean, I believe that Sony should have at least come out and issued a statement to curb some of these concerns. It just feels very out of place for a company that has consistently displayed consumer-friendly behavior in the previous generation to, well, technically behave like this, right? So, and this, what it has done is that there has been this consistent feeling online that Jim Ryan's leadership skills are to blame here. With his recent interview where he says about like older PS3 and backwards compatibility games, who wants to play older games, when asked about backwards compatibility, according to him, if the games don't look good, not every game, if it doesn't look like The Last of Us or the new God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn, then what's the point of even playing a game like that? Look, everybody loves a AAA title, but every now and then you want to play the Oddworld Soulstorm, which interestingly is yet again being published by Sony. So that begs the question, where was that sentiment when you guys were producing a game like that, right? So, and it has brought in a point where people are looking back at Sean Layden's leadership at Sony. A lot of people, including myself, do believe that Sean Layden was a better head for Sony than Jim is. Even though I do believe we need to give Jim Ryan his due time to prove what he can do with the PlayStation brand. But I personally feel like that, Sean Layden was a gamer himself. He loved playing games. He cared just as much about the smaller indie titles, the smaller AA game development, as much as he did about the big AAA titles that defined Sony as a console maker, as a company, as basically a player within this competitive gaming market. So, which quite clearly doesn't look like Jim Ryan is. I mean, what Jim Ryan seems to be is a suit. Like he is that corporate shill that we all love to hate. Like he He basically seems like a guy who would work at your local Activision head management company, or EA, rather than running a place like Sony. And this is where the difference comes in. Phil Spencer on the Microsoft side, on the Xbox side, he isn't like that. Like, he is a gamer. You can tell by the way he talks, you can tell by the way he's passionate about games, the way he carries himself in that particular way. You can tell that he is not just some guy in a suit who, you know, just doesn't care about, you know, what gaming is, what the gaming community wants, what his fans want, even though like the last generation was kind of a bit of a disappointment. I think that kind of got thrown on him, but at the same time, at least he says what his fans wants to hear. Jim Ryan doesn't, and that's the difference where Sean Layden you know, was like that. Like, he would support his players, he would talk to you like he was being personable with his own experiences in the gaming industry, rather than telling you how good the numbers were for Sony, or you know, how much money a game made. Or regardless of how much money a game made, he was still gonna greenlight a game that may not make a lot of money, and that wouldn't make too much financial sense. Look, I understand that a company like Sony doesn't have the trillions of dollars that Microsoft does, and they have to, you know, be smart with their decision making process. But at the same time, if you are gonna count on your bigger AAA titles, bring something out. Talk about the Horizon game that's gonna come out this year. Show the trailer of God of War. Get your fans on your side. Make them stop thinking about the issues that you know, that are being brought up in the light, because of the fact of your inability to speak on the problems that Sony may or may not have internally, right? So that's my you know, take on the situation. In my opinion, this just creates a bubble of animosity around Sony, and I do think they need to come out and issue a statement to curb some of these rumors and concerns that the players have, that their fans have, that their consumers have, which are legitimate concerns, right? I mean, I'm a fan. I liked Days Gone 2. Like, why shouldn't a studio, a brand new studio like Bend, get a chance to make a sequel of a game that they spent so much time and hours and years and weeks and days upon, right? So it is a little disappointing. So this brings us to another problem that was highlighted in the past couple of days, which yet again I'm gonna reference Yonghia's video here, but I saw it. So in his video he mentioned that there was an inbuilt flaw in the PS4 system, and basically the flaw is that there's a safeguard that was put into place for the trophy system for the PlayStation 4, and it is built with a CMOS battery, or CMOS battery. And when that battery dies, you need a live connection to PlayStation Network to play all your games, either hard or soft copies, like digital copies. And if Sony down the road kills the servers, then unless you jailbreak your PS4, the system itself, it essentially becomes useless. It's a glorified paperweight. You can't play games on it at all. And yet again, this brings into question the longevity of your PlayStation 4 console. Normally, when people talk about a Japanese product, they talk about how reliable it is, how it'll stay with you for the next 30 years or so, and this clearly doesn't seem to be the case here. Now, having said that, I mean, the CMOS battery is supposed to last anywhere between 10 to 20 years, depending upon use or whatnot, but at the same time, that does put like a sort of a ticking time clock on a doomsday clock on your console, right? I mean, there is a point when your console may actually give up unless you jailbreak the system, and that also just highlights another flaw in the design of a console, and all that for the trophy system, right? So yet again, just rumors and issues that are consistently being brought up, and the fact that Sony is staying quiet it kills the feeling. If you're a fan of a system that's consistently proved to be amazing in the last 30 years, 7 years or so, it just begs a question as to what Sony is thinking. I don't think Sony will issue a statement. I think Sony will wait until E3 and have their own show in which they're gonna bring up all of these things, maybe show games and stuff, but at the same time it would be nice if they'll be a little bit forthcoming in this regard. MLB in the show is on Game Pass day one, which, Jesus Christ, but whatever. Anyway guys, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Let me know what you all think, and if you think my concerns are legitimate, leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care guys, bye.